Usually you're asked to find the roots of a given function, but here in this case, you're asked to find the function with the following roots. And if we recall what the meaning of a root is, it is the value that makes the function equal to 0, which means that one of these four functions, when I plug in these four values, any of these four values, will give me will always give me an answer of 0. So this is what it means. And as you already see, I've already made my choice of trying out the number 1, because it's computationally very cheap to compute. Multiplying by 1 is just nothing. And immediately we see that the first term, the first choice gives us 8. This is clearly greater than 8, and so this is not a valid solution. As for the second one, these are only positive values, so this also can't be the solution, clearly. And for this function, it actually can't have any positive roots, so because it's in the way we've just seen. So these are not equal to 0. For these two functions, however, for the last two, they are actually equal to 0. You can check this. It's going to be 146 minus 146, and this is going to be 154 minus 154. Yeah, you can do that. So we need to find another value, and for this I'll choose 7, which is weird because 7 is supposed to be the biggest number. Usually if you want to compute stuff, you can choose the smallest number, let's say smallest absolute value, and then you compute, because it's easier to compute, let's say, 4 to the 4th than 7 to the 4th. But in this case, actually, if you do this, it turns out that -4 is a root for this function and that function. 5 is also a root for this function and that function. So in the end, you'll have to try out f of 7. And in that case, you would only need to try it out for one of the two. So that at least simplifies it a little bit. But then you're like, okay, how do I solve this in good time? How do I solve this quickly? Yeah, there's not really an efficient way of doing it. You just have to try them out. And in the exam, if I understand correctly, I don't think you'll be allowed to use the calculators. And so this is, in that case, you would have to do the following. Otherwise, you would just, grab the calculator and then we're done. So let's start. And let me choose the other function to substitute in. And I also have these set of values prepared, because in my third take for this video, I spent 10 minutes just trying to compute them on the spot. I'm sorry, I think you'll have to do the same on the exam. Yeah, after doing 4 computations with 2 with 5 and 2 with -4. Yeah, it's a tedious problem. We already know this. So 7 to the 4th, 2401, plus 5 times 7 to the 3rd. Well, that's 343 times 5. And if you want to multiply by 5, you can multiply by 10 and divide by 2. It's a good trick. And in that case, you get 1715. Then you take away 49 times 33. Then you have 113 times 7 plus 140. So this is 2,401. It's 1,715. If I add them up, I get 4,000. Yeah, 4,116 minus, and also let me add also this value as well. If I add it, I get 256, and I'm taking away this amount. Well, I'm too lazy, so instead of computing 33 times 49, I'll compute 33 times 50. 33 times 50 is 330 times 5, which is 3,300 divided by 2, which is 1,500. 1,500 no, it's 1,650. Yeah. So that's the value I'm taking away. And this value, well, it's going to be less than, so this is less than, these values are, let me clarify this. These values, the minus values, are less than 1,650 because I multiplied by a bigger number, right? Actually, they are greater than, sure. What I mean is that the minus value is bigger. That's what I mean. And I have 1,650, and on the right, if I just multiply by 10 instead of 7, I get 1,130. And this is going to be in the 2000s. It's not going to reach the 4,000 benchmark. And so from this, we already know that this is not going to be a root. Because this is in the 2000s and this is 4,000. So this is less than, it's less than 3,000, for example. And 3,000 is less than 4,000. So this value will actually be greater than 0 with all the computations we've just seen. And indeed, this will be the answer. A long and tedious exercise if you do it by hand. But this is what you need to do. As long as you know what a root is, you're good.